ahead and power on. All right, so full power. As you can see, I got 18 miles on the first charge. I was doing a lot of hill tests and things like that. Right now, we're currently on 0 assist. That's going to get you no assistance whatsoever. So go ahead and go up to 1, and you'll see there's a nice gradual takeoff here. Seems to be kind of geared for that, or at least spec'd for that. They don't want to like throw you off this bike. So it's a nice gradual takeoff. We get 10 miles an hour in pedal assist 1 with the throttle. We get a little bit more juice here in pedal assist 2. And I'm going uphill, so just know that this will be a little different when you're going up and downhill, but we get about 12. We're gonna bump up to pedal assist 3. I'm now up to 15. Pedal assist, oops, I skipped 4. 4 is gonna get us to about 18. 5 is gonna get you up to your full 20 miles an hour. Let me show you the seat. The seat is very cushy, very comfy. You really are not gonna have any issues with comfortable riding. With just my second day riding on this bike, I really have no gripes or complaints whatsoever. They spec'd it right. Everything just seems to flow and work together perfectly. The motor size with the battery size, you're gonna get a decent bike, good power, with a 750 watt bike here. So here we go, let me do some off-roading. Nice big drop off, big bumps and divots, and super comfortable, really no complaints here. All right, so I'm gonna fly down this hill. There's a little hill climb that I like to do on these fat tire bikes, because you want to be able to take these fat tire bikes off-road as well. That's kind of the point of them. You get them, probably you're going to ride mostly on road. That's kind of what these are for, especially this one. It's a single speed, so it's really not a mountain bike. It's really not a off-road bike that's going to get you kind of all over creation. But the fat tire bikes, they are built, especially with this rear suspension, to really get you off-roading and having a lot of fun with the off-road capabilities. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you a little section here. It's a really steep hill. It's over a 20% grade, if you're familiar with my channel. Let's get it. All right, big bumps and divots. Let's see if we can get up this road. Throttle only. Currently at 28 miles an hour, or 15 now. Let's see if we can get up this. Throttle only, we're at 12, 10, come on now, 7, 5. All right, we're gradually going. 5, this is a steep hill, like I said, it's over 20% grade. We're at 4, I think. 3, okay, full charge. I knew this could do it. So I came yesterday, I hit this hill when I was about half of my battery, and it stalled out halfway through on thumb throttle. And I figured that if I came back today and did it with a full battery, it would make it up. And that it is doing. So we're at 10 miles an hour right now. This might stall out. This gets pretty steep right here. This is the steepest portion of it. I think it gets up to about 25% grade just for a split second right here. And this bike says, I think the motor says it's capable of doing 20% grade. Let's see. All right, so it did it. It made it up. No problems there. Let's see if it could do this final little hill right here. This is definitely a 25% grade right here. Nice and bumpy, and I'm staying in the saddle. I don't have to get up. All right, I mean, it's slow, but it's doing it. Yeah, that right there for sure. That last little bit is a 25% grade. I'm gonna keep doing some more off-roading here. This type of trail is well suited for this. So you can see the ramp up is nice and slow here, guys, as I keep pointing out. Some people will like that because they find they don't want to be jerked around, but some people don't like it. They just want that juice to get up and going. I'm gonna go ahead and talk about these bumps, how smooth this ride is. I'm in the saddle the whole time because it's so comfortable. Like, I don't feel like I have to get out of the saddle at all. I don't feel like I'm getting thrown out of the seat at the same time. I just ride through the bumps and I have no problems making it through. This bike is not gonna be a mountain bike. You're not gonna take this on mountain bike trails, although you could. For most trails, this bike is legal. It's only a Type 2 bike. So on most trails, you'll be able to do it. There's some that don't allow any e-bikes, but this one you can take out on trails, but you're not really going to want to do that. It's not really a mountain bike. It's just not geared for it. You're gonna want something that's geared a little better. You're gonna want a lighter bike as well to maneuver around a lot of the technical trails that are out there. But this kind of stuff right here is like suited for ATVs. It's nice big roads. Nothing too technical. So something like this is perfect for this kind of bike, especially the way that they have the front suspension and this rear suspension working together. It makes it a really enjoyable ride. This moto style bike is so much fun. It's spec'd perfectly for a budget bike, and I just wanted to point that out. Keep in mind, this is a budget bike. It's a entry friendly price point. And a lot of these bikes for a while were, I think, getting it wrong. They were trying to include everything that you could possibly want to compete with some of the bigger bikes. And what that actually, or the more expensive bikes, and what that actually would do is it would end up with a lackluster experience because you would get all the bells and whistles, but they would be really low quality bells and whistles that would break or just not function right. It was just a nuisance to really kind of have to fiddle with and tweak to keep them up and going. But what these manufacturers are starting to do, like this one, they figured a lot of things out. Like, for example, a bike like this, they capped the speeds at 20 miles per hour. They made it legal for almost any trail in America based on federal law. You have to check with your local jurisdiction. They can change and tweak things. But I know in California, where I live, and most states, this is perfectly legal on any bike trail. Now, there are a couple of mountain bike trails that are maintained. They're private trails, and there's some that are forest trails. They don't allow motorized bikes, even e-bikes on some of those trails, but those are few and far between. Almost any trail or road that you can go on with a regular bike, you can go on with this bike. It is a Type 2. It's capped at 20 miles an hour, pedal and throttle, and it's considered by the federal government to be a regular bike. Okay, so they kept that going for it, and in capping those speeds, they were able to cut some corners on cost a little bit. So the rear motor is not as powerful as some of those big high-end bikes. It's a 750 watt motor, but that's max power. That's not continuous power. They matched it well with a smaller battery. So the smaller battery is not going to get you those big 30 to 50 mile ranges, but this one will get you about 20 is probably the max that it's going to get you. If you're not going up and down hills and you're pedaling a little more, I think maybe you'll probably reach 25 on a good day, but this one's going to get you about that 20 mile range. And what they were able to do was get you a UL certified battery. So you got a quality battery on this thing, quality motor, quality battery. Okay. And then the other thing that they did was they got you mechanical disc brakes instead of hydraulic disc brakes. With a 20 mile an hour speed, a bike like this, these are perfectly capable of stopping you just fine. So they saved a little money there, but they did give you 160 millimeter disc brakes. So they got you what you need to be okay on this bike to get around and be able to stop yourself. They did exactly what was needed. Same thing for these forks, these front forks, these hydraulic forks. They're not the top of the line front forks, but they're enough to get this bike where they designed it to go, this type of terrain that I'm talking about. And they combined it with this spring rear suspension that does the job just fine as well. This, in my opinion, they spec'd it perfectly. All of the components were well thought out. So whoever manufactured this, whoever put this bike together, I do believe they knew what they were doing. They really got you a quality bike for a budget price. Pedaling is okay. It's not amazing. So you're probably not going to want to pedal this thing all the time. I think most people aren't getting it for that, but you can do it. You can pedal. It's not unpleasant for me. I'm about 6'1". It's not the most enjoyable experience, but I don't think anybody will really grow tired of pedaling. And for the most part, you're going to be using this throttle anyway. It does have turn signals. So on the rear, you got your left turn signal, a right turn signal. It also has a brake light on the back. All right, so I don't know if you can see, I'm at 29 miles. I started at 18, about halfway through the battery life, so I've gone about 11 miles. I'm gonna call it. The other day I did the same kind of thing, got 18 miles, or yesterday actually, I got 18 miles. This one I'm about halfway and I've gotten 11 miles in, so I'm gonna say I'm probably gonna get right about the same. I've been almost all thumb throttle. But yeah, so I'm going to say this is going to be right around that 20-mile mark for most people, most rides, most days. All right, so I'm going to call this review wrapped up. I definitely can highly recommend this bike. I really don't think you're going to find anything better for this price point. It really is quite something here. In fact, I went to an eBike expo a few months back and was riding bikes that were close to twice the price point here that were not as well made and weren't as fun to ride. So they nailed it, knocked it out of the park. I highly recommend it. I'm pretty certain most people will be happy with this budget build here for this price point. I just don't think you're gonna find anything better.